gift card. Second place winners will receive a $75 gift card, and third place winners will receive a $50 gift card. Our winners will now come up. I wasn't sure if I was going to be on the stage or not, to receive their certificate and prizes. Would each winner please come up when your name is called? First place for kindergarten was Allison Sancho from Miss Coffey's class at Brookdale Avenue School. First place for first grade was Henry Costa from Mrs. Sorigliano's class at Brookdale Ave School. Third place for third grade was Zosha Sitchin from Mr. Cherisi's class at FN Brown. First place for sixth grade was Catherine Petrucia from Mrs. Halbert's class at HB Whitehorn Middle School. First place for seventh grade was Chloe Wynn from Miss Spinelli's class at HB Whitehorn Middle School. Second place for 10th grade was Eleanor Battersby from Mr. Tamburo's class at Verona High School. So much fun to give out awards. I should do this every day in my classroom. Second place for 11th grade was Griffin Reel from Mr. Tamburo's class at Verona High School. And unfortunately, the 12th grade winner, first place, was David Sidrak. He was not able to make it. I just found out last minute, and I was going to ask him to read his response. He's from Mr. Tamburo's class at Verona High School. I just want to say congratulations to all, first of all, and for all of the parents coming out tonight, and just for everybody who submitted their responses. It was fun reading through them all. I would love to read David's essay for a few reasons. First of all, he's a 12th grader, so he won't be able to submit, but also because he was my student when I taught 7th grade at HB. So I'd love to read it if everyone's okay with that. So his essay answered the question, what was something that you accomplished that you didn't think you'd be able to do? And so he titled it Expectations. From a young age, I was constantly told by those around me that I would never live up to my sister. At the top of her class and an academic enigma, I would constantly be compared to her success and come up short. This became even more apparent with my entrance into high school and everything that came with it, AP exams, higher level classes, extracurriculars, and so on. I was astonished at how many activities my sister was involved in, and yet she was able to maintain a very high academic standing, taking the maximum number of AP classes that the school would allow her to. I've always looked fondly upon her, and I dream of the day that I'd be able to match her sheer academic prowess. But I have limits. As much as I wanted to match her efforts one-to-one, I knew I didn't have the means to do so. She could spend hours on end studying for all of her classes every night, while I got exhausted much quicker than that. As such, I had a decision to make. Where should I put my effort in? I knew that I needed to set a goal such that I'd have something to motivate myself and keep me on track. I decided on a task that at the time I didn't think I'd be able to manage: take 5 AP classes and maintain A's in all of them. Going into my junior year, my schedule was scattered with the likes of AP chemistry, computer science, language, US history, and calculus. My cards were laid out before me, and I knew what I had to do. Looking back at it now, my parents said it was a miracle that I got through it. My nights consisted of struggling with chemistry, followed by pages of calculus, practice on Khan Academy, and whatever reading or essay was assigned for AP Lit. Oh yeah, and sprinkle in the occasional deep dive into my history textbook and the hours I'd spend working out the errors of my program. Needless to say, it was a struggle. I'd be lying if I said I didn't want to quit on numerous occasions. There were nights where I felt as though my academic aspirations were inadequate and I wouldn't be able to make it. The lows were low and the highs were high, but I made it out alive. At the end of it all, I only fell short in chemistry. My takeaway from the whole ordeal was not one of failure, but rather one of encouragement. My goal was excellence, and although I may not have reached it, I happened to land on greatness. Coming out of junior year, I felt encouraged to try my hand at it once more and finish off my high school career strong. And even if I don't quite hit my mark, at least I'll know I tried and it'll all work out in the end. I also wanted to say the other reason that I read that was just encouragement of the winners, to just continue to submit their responses, work hard as communicators. As we all know, that's an important skill in life. And I'm really glad that I was a part of this, to read the essays, to present. And so thank you again for allowing me to.
Just like to thank you all for being here tonight. And, you know, it's heartwarming when we have students who aren't afraid to take chances and aren't afraid to put themselves out there and put their thoughts on paper. So I applaud all of you for not only for doing all of that, but for being the students that you are and contributing to what makes our schools such wonderful places to be. And Mrs. LaJoy, thank you so much for the presentation and for reading the essay. Let's give the students one more round of applause because they certainly deserve it. Sure.
If we could have all the students gather and we could do a picture with Dr. Fernari, that would be pretty awesome. And I want to congratulate everybody as well. And sitting up here as board members, our main goal is the student. I mean, that's who we serve. And to see everybody, like Dr. Fernari said, putting yourselves out there and achieving and trying, it's awesome. And I want to give a shout out because I do see Mr. Tamboro here to support his students who have achieved awards. And I think it's great to have our faculty here supporting the students as well. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. LaJoy, for putting that together. That was awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to continue with our regular agenda, and I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Fernari for the superintendent's report.
Okay, good evening. Congratulations again to our students honored here tonight for their contributions to the Essex County Education Association's Pride Essay Contest. We'd like to thank the ESEA for presenting and thank our students for sharing their presence here tonight. I want to read every one of those essays. And I know after my report, we'll have a presentation by Mrs. Palmerazzi for the winter sports. So we're looking forward to that. I also wanted to just provide us a brief update on our diversity, equity, and inclusion. We've had our subgroups met over a period of 3 evenings on March 29th, 30th, and 31st. The groups are focused on curriculum instruction, assessment, and professional development, HR practices and community outreach, educational equity, and climate and culture. During these meetings, participants learned a bit about the activities in which our administrators and staff are engaged, stemming from our work with the New Jersey Consortia for Excellence Through Equity sessions on the Innocent Classroom. Our consultant, Ms. Shipper, was available to join us virtually, engaging with each group about their expectations for the work in which we are engaged. The subgroups will be meeting again later this month. And also, I wanted to make sure that I put in a little bit of information that April is Autism Awareness and Acceptance Month. Thank you to Dr. Moriello for spearheading the sharing of information that will be sent out periodically during the month of April. Most importantly, and this is a quote directly from some of the literature that Dr. Moriello has shared, be the source of hope for more than just autism awareness, be the agent of change and a voice for autism action, acceptance, access, and advancement. And that concludes my report for the evening.
Excellent. Thank you, Dr. Fernari. Does anybody have any questions or comments?
Just want to thank Dr. Fernari. I believe it was last week you put out an email with the updated COVID travel guidelines. And I want to thank you for putting that out and for, implementing what I think is sensible guidelines.
And at this point, I will ask Ms. Palmerazzi to come to the podium. Ms. Palmerazzi is the Director of Athletics and Special Programs, and she's here to give us a report on the winter sports recap.
Good evening, everyone. Tonight, I will give a brief recap of our winter season. Omicron tried to interrupt our winter season, but we took each practice and each game day by day, and we were successfully able to complete our winter season. A big thank you to all of our winter student athletes, parents, and coaches for giving it their all each and every day and being so understanding and accommodating with every canceled, added, or moved game. Our track team also had to deal with Mother Nature this past winter, scheduling polar meets only to be canceled when Mother Nature wouldn't cooperate. Our athletes stayed strong and continued to show up each and every day at practice and give it their all. Our girls track team placed 4th in the conference and 3rd overall at the state sectionals. 11 girls qualified for group championships. Georgianne and Marguerite Valera and Eleanor Newman placed at counties in pole vault, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. On the boys' side, the boys took 2nd overall at North 2 Group 1 state sectionals down in Toms River. Sophomore Ian Zalewski was our SEC and Essex County champion in both the 1600 and 3200 meters. He was the North 2 Group 1 state sectional champion in the 1600 and placed 2nd in the 3200. 6 boys qualified for group championships. The Verona Glenridge ice hockey team had one of its best seasons ever. The team record was 21-5-3 and undefeated in the Kelly division, 10-0. Verona won the regular season Kelly division title and beat Frisch and Cranford on its way to winning the Kelly Cup championship. The VGR team was seeded 4th in the Public C for the state tournament, its highest ranking ever. VGR went on to beat Tenafly and Jackson Liberty to advance to the state tournament Final Four. VGR took on top-seeded Morris Knowles in the state semifinal and lost a heartbreaking 3-2 overtime decision in an incredibly competitive game. The team energized the school community and the communities at large, sometimes playing in front of 700 to 1,000 spectators at Cody Arena. The team was extremely competitive every night and carried itself with class and sportsmanship throughout the season. 2 players made all-league first team. 1 player was all-league second team. 2 honorable mention all-league, 1 being Verona's Dominic Pandisha. Our boys and girls swim team practiced this season at the Montclair YMCA. Both teams finished their season 3-2 in the Liberty Division. The team competed at NJIT for their championship meet, and both Sophia Buboff and Ryan McMahon received honorable mention. The 2021-2022 varsity wrestling team compiled a 10-9 record, including a share of the best record in the SEC Liberty Division, 4-1. The team qualified for the North 2 Group 1 Team Sectional Championship as a 5th seed, defeating the 4th seed Johnson in the quarterfinals before losing in the semifinals to Hasbrook Heights. The team competed in 2 early season tournaments, the highly competitive John Goals Tournament and the Carney Tournament, with individual wrestlers placing in each. The team placed 6th out of 21 teams competing in the Essex County Tournament, which included 2 second-place finishers, a 3rd, 4th, and 3 top 8 finishes. The team placed 3rd overall at the District 10 tournament at Phillipsburg, placing 5 wrestlers into the regions. I think it was our new mats that we got, including 2 district champions, Derek Bernardino and Jaden Chupak. At the region tournament, Derek Bernardino finished in 6th place, while Jaden Chupak finished in 4th place, advancing to the state tournament in Atlantic City. At the state tournament, Jaden Chupak won 1 match, finishing among the top 24 wrestlers in the state of New Jersey in his weight class. Overall, the team exceeded early season expectations with the number of freshmen and first-time wrestlers appearing in the lineup. The few JV wrestlers found a great deal of success in their matches throughout the season. Jaden Chupak, Derek Bernardino, and Nick Handler were named first team All Liberty Division. Jesse Wagner, Jake Ferry, Joel Gonzalez, John Stockelberg received second team, and Charlie James Ortiz received honorable mention. The boys basketball team had a very successful season. The team consisted of 7 seniors, 3 juniors, 2 sophomores, and a freshman. The team played a full season of 26 games, thankfully uninterrupted by COVID. The team finished with a 15-11 record, which included wins over rivals Cedar Grove and MKA. They also had wins over much larger group schools, including Livingston, Milburn, and North Star. The team played a competitive out-of-conference schedule and finished 7-2. The junior varsity team finished with a 16-5 record, and the freshman team was very competitive. Both teams advanced far in their county tournaments. All 7 seniors will go on to 4-year colleges. Off the court, the boys basketball team raised over $4,000 in their fundraising and shoot-a-thon. $2,000 will be donated to Daria Gebbia. They also donated a copious amount of toys for Tots. Sean Mulligan received first team Colonial Division. Kel Zabrowski and Tyler Zamani, second team. Aiden Bermio and Alex Rodriguez received honorable mention. And finally, our girls basketball team had an overall record of 11-14. They won 2 Essex County tournament games. They won a state game against Passaic Valley. Emily Baumgard, junior captain, received second team all conference, and Sabine Matta, junior, received all conference honorable mention. The girls basketball team hosted Cedar Grove in the Hoops for Hope game. $2,944 was raised for our own Daria Gebbia and will be presented to her family. Senior Lauren Kobernick was the recipient of the National Association of Girls and Women in Sports Award, which she was nominated by her coaches. She was also the recipient of the Frank Baldacchino Essay Award Scholarship winner, where she was chosen as the one female recipient in the state of New Jersey for this award. She was recognized at the Director of Athletics Association of New Jersey convention dinner. We are now in full swing with our spring sports. I'm looking forward to some warmer weather for our student athletes. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Mrs. Pomarezzi. It's really an impressive an impressive season for a school of our size to have such recognition. And these students are not only athletes, they're academics and participating in a lot of things across their whole schedule. So it's amazing. Thank you for giving the report out on that. Does
I
anybody
thought-
have any?
Yeah, number one, that was an very
Yeah.
impressive report. Um, I I think we should at least consider perhaps, because we drive by the marquee and we see the first team all county or whatever, the first team all state. But that report kind of gave life to those words. So perhaps, cutting that and sending that cut from the YouTube to the community, to let them know that all these great things are going on in our high school. I think that's the exact kind of message we want to let people know we're doing. But that report was fantastic.
Excellent. Thank you so much. That rolls us into our committee reports, and we only have athletics. So Pam.
Thank you, Mrs. Pomerazzi, for your wonderful report on winter sports, and congratulations to all our athletes. It's always very impressive to hear and to watch them out there doing their thing. Like you mentioned, spring sports is underway. Hopefully the weather will start getting nicer for them outside. I think we really have only one other item on here. Was Sports Boosters Dinners is scheduled for June 20th. I think that was added from when we spoke. And also a field trip that will be taking place on April 23rd to April 27th is the DECA competition in Georgia's World Congress Center in Atlanta, Georgia. And I think it was it was quick. So congrats to everyone again.
I have
Yeah.
a question. What is the DECA conference?
So DECA is an extracurricular, and it's a club that mimics entrepreneurs. It teaches you about running a business, and I don't know exactly what category our students are in, but they did. There's things in all categories from marketing to advertising, and students put together a whole project, and they have to come up with a business plan, advertisement. They do their pitch almost Shark Tank like, if you will, in front of panels of judges, and they get evaluated on everything from professional appearance to speaking abilities to actual put together of a business plan. And they move on. And I think the first step before Georgia, I think we sent students down to Atlantic City to compete. And then this is the next level. So I think it's amazing. A shout out to those students. I wish them a lot of luck, and hopefully we'll hear back on how they do there. Other questions? We're going to keep moving with the regular agenda. At this point, we have public comments on agenda action items. So that's anything that we'll be voting on in the packet for resolutions. If anybody wishes to make a comment on any action items, to please come to the podium. And I do not see anybody, so we are going to continue to move down. Do we have any old or new business that anybody would like to bring up?
Just one thing, I saw pictures on Facebook of the middle school play that was held this past week, and I was just really blown away by the set designs and the costumes. It seemed like a whole lot of detail went into this, and it, I think everyone I talked to had a positive experience, or their kid had a positive experience. So whoever's in charge of that, I think, did a really impressive job.
Yeah, I was going to speak to that as well. So this year they had over 100 students come out for Matilda. So they had to split it into two casts. It's the first time they've ever done that. And as Mr. Michalowski, who is truly amazing in everything that he does for the students, as are all of the teachers who are involved. It's really a community effort, because we also have teachers come down from the high school to help with the lighting and the sound and the set design and the choreography. But I mean, I think, as he said at the show, that it was a steep learning curve, but it was his most enjoyable production he's ever taken part in. The kids were unbelievable. I mean, unbelievable stage presence. They knew exactly what to do and when to do it. And the new lighting was incredible. My husband's in AV, and that's literally all he talked about the entire show was the light, was the lighting. So congratulations to everybody involved in Matilda. It was such a pleasure watching everybody, and looking forward to next year's shows.
Incredible that so many students came out, that they had a double cast. So each night was opening night really for everybody. Incredible. If there's no other discussion items, we are going to move on to do a roll call to vote on the resolutions. And I need a motion to accept the approval of resolutions number 1 through 14.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Day,
Second.
second by Mrs. Prisco. And is there any discussion on any of the agenda items?
I just wanted to discuss resolution number 7, which is the recommendation for the Splash Summer Learning Program. So this program is sort of like a response to intervention program that we're able to offer a select number of students over the summer. I believe the cap is 36. And this is funded through our ARP ESSER funding. And essentially, what it is we are using a variety of data, such as our Acadians data for the younger grades, as well as the MAP growth data. And in addition to that, teacher recommendations for any students who may have not shown enough growth throughout the year, or may have the potential to regress or have shown regression. And it's a 1 month or roughly 4-week program. I believe it's June 28th through July 26th. And it's an excellent opportunity for students to sort of try and make up some of those skills that they may need for their next grade.
Thank you, Mrs. Drappi. And I just wanted to ask Dr. Fernari if you could speak a little bit about resolution number 6, which is accepting a doctoral student enrolled at Centenary University.
Yeah, so, and I may ask Dr. Miller to help me with that one a little bit, but generally what happens is with doctoral students, they reach out to school districts very frequently to have permission to work with or survey as part of their dissertation research on their topic, on their dissertation topic. In this particular instance, we have a student from Centenary University who is asking for the permission to survey our teachers regarding communication at its core, elementary teacher beliefs on English language learners in the mainstream setting. So the gist of all of this, it would be a voluntary survey. Staff of any discipline can participate. It is a blind survey, as most dissertation, well, not all dissertation research must be, meaning that there are no names used. They're not even provided. So this is asking the board for the permission for this student to conduct their survey. And again, it's voluntary for our staff, so they can choose to participate or not.
Thank you.
Why did we pick this one in particular? Like we get asked these for like all the time. So why did we want this particular one?
So this is the one that we happen to get. We haven't had, since I've been here, I don't think we've had any others this year. Mm-mm.
If there's no other questions or comments on the resolution, I am going to ask Mr. Cruz to please call the roll.
Mr. Walker,
Yes.
Mr. Day,
Yes.
Mrs. Drappi,
Yes.
Mrs. Prisco,
Yes.
Mrs. Fresky.
Yes.
We have quorum, motion passed. Thank you.
Thank you. And we do have a couple of addendum items. I need a motion to approve addenda resolutions number 1 through 3.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Day. Second by Mrs. Prisco. And is there any discussion on 1 through 3? Nope. Okay, Mr. Cruz, if you would,
Sure.
please.
Mr. Walker,
Yes.
Mr. Day,
Yes.
Mrs. Drappi,
Yes.
Mrs. Prisco,
Yes.
Mrs. Fresky.
Yes.
We have quorum, motion passed.
Thank you very much. And that's that. And at this point, we open the meeting up to public comments on any topic. And anybody who wishes to approach the podium with any comments could please do so now. And I see none. So at this point, I just want to say our next meeting, our next public meeting is Tuesday, April 26th, confidential session at 6 PM. And I want to remind everybody that the April 26th meeting is going to be held at the HB Whitehorn Auditorium. There was a conflict with something going on here, so we changed the location. So April 26th is at HB Whitehorn, and the public session begins at 7 PM. And if there is nothing else, we are going to adjourn the meeting. I need a motion to adjourn. Moved by Mrs. Drappi.
Second.
Second by Mr. Day. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Excellent. So thank you, everybody. And the meeting is called